Welcome to Legal Off The Leash, the podcast where we take the legal profession out of the box and into a happier, more fulfilling future. We're your hosts,
Elizabeth de Stadler.
And Scott Simmons.
See, I didn't fuck that up. I did not fuck that up.
And on today's episode, we're back, baby. And it is good to be back. It is 2026. All things are fresh.
Wait,
you and I are going to be...
It's 2026? I've been writing 2025 all day.
I wonder how long that'll carry on for, because I do that occasionally.
Yeah, I don't know. I normally get it right by about September.
Funny enough, actually, how long do you wish people Happy New Year for?
June.
Okay,
And
so you
then
beat
I
me.
still do it, but I turn it into like the past tense. Like, how happy is your new year? Which is really horrible. They tell me.
Right. It's been a couple of months since our last episode, which is recapping the first 10. What a whirlwind. Loved every minute of this. I love co-hosting this with you. I think if ever there was...
It's tolerable.
Okay, I'm going to be happier than that. And if there is anyone who this was always going to work with, it was going to be you. So I'm excited to see what's going on. So we're going to cover off a bit about 2025. We'll start off with Christmas and stuff like that. We'll look forward to 2026, share a few things, talk about what's coming up on the show as well, themes, and maybe hint at some guests. And we will crack on with getting this 2026 edition going.
I mean, this is not going to be a long episode, right? There's only so much I can say about Christmas on air, you know?
Right. So, yes. So for anyone who doesn't know how things work with us, there's a lot that happens at the beginning before we release these episodes. A lot of editing, a lot of what can we say, what can't we say. Perfect example, Elizabeth couldn't remember our opening Welcome to Legal Off The Leash. So normally one of us does the first half and the other person does the second half, but I took on the whole thing. You'll notice that Elizabeth did our names, or did you just do your name?
I just did mine. I don't fucking remember you. Do you know I have a new symptom?
Oh, go on.
So I have something that is called face blindness. So I don't remember like people's faces. Like obviously people who I've known for a long time. I mean, your face is unforgettable, obviously. But like if I met you recently, I'm not going to fucking recognize you. You know, when I started noticing the symptoms, it was a while ago. We were employing someone who was heavy into the Kardashians, and I cannot tell them apart. I started to say, I've got Kardashian blindness. I actually think it's on my LinkedIn profile. Can't tell the Kardashians apart.
Well, I've never watched the show, and it was only recently that I actually discovered that Kim and Kanye.
How many of them are there? 4.
I couldn't tell you.
5, 6. I don't know.
No, it was only recently that I found out that Kim and Kanye were divorced.
Hey, what do you think is the collective noun for Kardashians?
I'm not going.
Okay, fine.
The cult of celebrity is amazing.
My favorite collective noun is a murder of crows. That is awesome. That is
up there with the best.
That is freaking awesome.
Yeah. If you want to put someone or something on the back foot, you start off by calling their collective a murder.
Exactly.
If you want people to love you, you don't refer to them collectively as a murder of.
Do you know what the collective noun is for lawyers? We might devote an entire episode to this.
Well,
it's a quarrel of lawyers.
Yeah, and it's
right.
So,
we could talk about that.
Yeah, but it's so obvious, isn't it? It's so
stereotypical.
It's so easy. It's not even put thought into it. It's just like, how can we describe lawyers? Yep, they like to argue a lot. Let's call it a quarrel of lawyers. I'm
going to go research where it came from. And we can write something about it. Should we try and get on with it?
Yeah. We're enough into this that we probably should. Right. So let's start with Christmas. How was it for you?
A lot of family. That's it. A lot of family. Those of you who can't tell, I'm a South African. So we have a summer Christmas. I don't know. I suppose you do too, Scott. No, but it doesn't get cold over there.
Oh, I've got to tell you, it has gotten, I mean, not sort of Northern Europe or even UK cold, but it has gotten cold here.
We had good weather. There was a lot of swimming and family. Christmas was okay. My brother-in-law had a little, I don't know what to call it. He gave me eyeshadow and face beads. And I didn't know face beads was a thing.
Oh, God, you sent me that photo.
It was so funny. We do this thing called Silly Santa. We've got a small amount of money, but you must buy the most outlandish gift.
Love it.
Face beads and eyeshadow was right up there. And you?
So Christmas was fantastic.
It looks like it. How many mince pies?
Right. So my mother-in-law makes these most amazing mince pies, and she came over and made them, but she made too much pastry and then wanted to use it all. And so there was no amount that I could eat over that 2.5 week period that got me even close. So now our freezer is stocked up
With mince pies.
with mince pies that I will probably still be eating in June.
Do you know, like, what one of my friends in the UK found really difficult to picture is that I was eating mince pies on the beach. Like,
Yeah.
that somehow does not compute. But
Yeah.
I freaking love it. Like, we've got obviously a lot of English traditions so in South Africa. So yeah, eating mince pies on the beach, my favorite.
So Christmas was great. I spent it with the kids. My mum came over a few weeks, but our build up to Christmas was a bit
Less than ideal.
less than ideal. And I know that my wife probably won't thank me for sharing this, but I am going to, because there is a point to it. Back in 2017, my wife got breast cancer, and not only beat it, absolutely annihilated it. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. She'd get her chemotherapy, we'd go get some lunch, and then she'd be straight back to work. And the power in my wife is unbelievable. I don't have anything like that in me. Anyway, so we got through that. But the awful thing about cancer, beyond what it does, is the fact that it doesn't just leave physical scars, it leaves emotional scars. And one of the things it does is that cancer hangs over you forever.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
spectre of it, the idea that it may
Could
or
come
will
back.
come back one day, and you
And
live with that.
tests like every 6 months. I don't know if she
And
does that, but a friend of
well,
mine
it
did
starts
that.
off after the radiotherapy finished, it was once a year, and then it was and after 5 years, it was 2 years. But you live with it, and you learn to. And I don't like talking about it. I don't like using the word cancer. I really struggle to say that word. That was when I started getting therapy around that time, and it was
Only
unbelievable.
then.
Yeah. But it was life changing. Because
When
it
was
went
that?
further than
2017.
2017. Yeah.
Haha. I have had therapy for 7 years more than you.
What was interesting was I'd started business coaching before that. I was offered the therapy as part of my wife's treatment, and my God, that step from business coaching into therapy to open up so much more, because you're already thinking about stuff, you're already opening doors when you're doing coaching, but the stuff you open up in therapy is unreal. And it started with the cancer, and then it moved on to other things, and it opened up my mind and the way that I think and my ability to communicate because of therapy
For sure.
was unbelievable. And I talk about therapy to people, and I always say to people, you should get it. And it's not because you think something's wrong or because there's something wrong. It's
Everybody
for
needs
anybody.
it.
Everybody should get it.
We're all just, we all have our baggage that influences how we behave now, and I always say to people, it's not about, like, you don't get cured, right? My first psychiatrist I've gone through, I see that as marriages, right? I'm the Liz Taylor of psychiatry. But my
That's good.
first one said, you don't cure depression, depression cures you. So it's just that weird thing where it's not really, it's not about changing anything. It's just about, like, being self-aware, which
Yes. A self-awareness.
you benefit from that in basically all facets of life, right?
Yeah. So just over a week before Christmas, my wife calls me into the bathroom. She's noticed something on her breast, same side as before. It wasn't a lump. It was this large red sort of mark. And so I said to her, let's call the doctor and just find out what's going on. That's what she did. And then we did something incredibly stupid, Elizabeth. You know that you can, and you can't stop then thinking about it. So we did this really stupid thing of going online and typing in what we had seen.
Oh, the power of suggestion, right?
Right. Right. Because you can't help yourself in a situation like this.
No.
I admire people who resist it in situations like this, because, my God. And we got back a very confident answer from Google's AI, basically telling us you're screwed, really confidently. So that was basically it. The spiral then started, and we saw the doctor. I mean, the God bless them, National Health, and Gibraltar's got the equivalent here. So we called in the evening. The following morning, one of the first appointments, Amanda was seeing the GP. The following day, my wife was in to see the breast nurses at the breast clinic. But by then, I had completely spiraled. The things that were going on in my head, Elizabeth, I'd just basically catastrophized everything.
Yeah.
You're imagining a world completely different to what it is now. And that was what was going through my head for those days, was what is life going to be like? And how am I going to, and how is everyone and how the kids and how are we going to deal with a completely different life? So we go to the breast clinic, and so this was kind of 2 days, and they start having a look, and they're looking and they're saying, okay, well, what we'll do is we'll book you in for mammogram and other tests.
Biopsy?
No, not at this stage. A couple of scans, and the next appointment actually was 4 days. It's 4 days time.
That's a long 4 days, right?
Right. Okay. So at this point, I kind of said, listen, I need to say some things. I need to get it off my chest. We did something really stupid the other night, and we looked it up online, and it came back with this. And as I was saying it, one of the breast nurses said, I know exactly what you're going to say. And then she said what the diagnosis had come out. And they said, listen, it doesn't have the hallmarks of that. It would be, it just doesn't have the hallmarks of it. And they said, this is what we think it is. This is what, from our experience, it will be. They said, but let's see what we can do. And they couldn't get us in any sooner than that. The way that the week had worked out, they couldn't get us in any sooner. So the next
Did you feel
4
better?
days, did I feel better? I did. I did feel better. You speak to experts about it, and they actually explain where you had gone wrong. Not in why did you do that. They were really good about
judgy.
it. They weren't. And I think there's so much of this. The reason I'm telling this story is there's so much of this that there's an analogy with what we're doing in the legal profession. I see so many lawyers getting really, really annoyed at people who show up to meetings or calls and they've gone, I've looked online, and they get really, really annoyed about it. And they actually express their annoyance with clients. And I always say to people who are like that, you can't be annoyed. This is the world that we're living in.
Exactly.
There is an opportunity, and those breast nurses, they showed exactly what that opportunity is. Now, they're not in the business of business.
Yeah, it's acceptance,
But they were
right?
really empathetic about it, and they understood that this is what goes on. And they didn't do the, why did you do that? And all of that sort of thing. They didn't do any of that. They were really, really kind about it. And they took us through everything. And they even said, listen, let's see if we can get you in sooner. Okay, can't do that, but we've got you into the absolutely earliest appointment that there possibly is. And actually made me, for those 4 days, yes, there was still some uncertainty, and there's always going to be.
But of course, I mean, it's sort of latent anxiety would have been there, but there's a difference between being anxious and catastrophizing.
Right. And I'd come away from that. Away from that.
Did you know that when you catastrophize, you lose, like, I think it was 20 IQ points. I mean, you don't have 20 IQ points to lose. Let's face it.
I was just going to say that. And how much hair do you lose?
It must have been like, no, I heard you, but it's better coming from me. But it literally makes it impossible. I mean, we've all experienced it, right? You get stuck in the spiral, and no amount of rational information will get you out of it. And then you need, in my experience, you need the warmth of a person who will go, I understand that you did that, and not but. And let's look at the answer you got, and I will tell you what else we can think about. Like, it's not, because the minute you judge a person, you're losing that connection, right? And you're losing a bit of face as well. Yes. So I think it's a really good analogy.
Yeah.
Because we're not altogether different than medical professionals in a lot of ways.
But this is it, isn't it? These are professionals. These are trained professionals. And like lawyers, you can sit there and be frustrated about the fact that people are going online, or you can understand that and accept that this is the world we're living in, and people are showing up. I'm going to use the word informed, whether they're misinformed or whatever. They are showing up with information, and your job is to either empathetically put them right or add to the conversation with your experience if they are right. Because even armed with that knowledge, they can't do it themselves.
They might have been asking the wrong question. That's what I've been saying. Like, and this is incidentally the episode that we're going to record soon that I'm looking forward to the most, is to talk about prompting. because yes, AI will replaces some tasks, but you need to be asking the right questions, and that is what clients get wrong, is because they haven't accurately diagnosed the problem that they are having. I mean, even lawyers sometimes find it difficult. Like, I remember at university, you do all the subjects, right? And the first time you get a legal problem, when you start out as a young lawyer, you realize, but the problems don't fall in these categories of contract law, commercial law, family law. Like, it's all like one thing, and you have to figure out like how things fit together, and that's really difficult. I'm not convinced that AI can do that yet.
No.
Certainly, when I use it, it often doesn't diagnose the problem correctly.
And even when it can get better and better and better, there is still going to be that ever-present problem of there's a human on the other end who may or may not know that they are putting in enough information, the right information.
And they might be catastrophizing.
And they might be catastrophizing, or they might be steering in the completely wrong direction, because there are so many nuances in law. And this is why when I see people talking about, what AI is going to do is it's going to allow you to be a generalist, or it's going to allow you to open up. It's just the idea in a situation like we had. I want to know that the person who I'm speaking to is the specialist at this subject.
Maybe I should, but maybe I should correct my earlier "that's bullshit" comment. So I very firmly believe that people who have generalist tendencies will inherit the earth, right? So I do believe, for instance, that the fact that I have litigation experience makes me a better drafter. So the fact that I have broad knowledge of various areas of law, because I just love all law, right? It's all very interesting, does inform my ability to be that specialist.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean I'm going to start dabbling in competition law.
Right.
But I understand when I read a transactional document when there's a risk of competition law problem. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So being a generalist is not the bad thing. It is that you need to know how to incorporate all of that knowledge into your area and communicate confidence. I mean, you should actually be confident, but I think communicating confidence, especially to a person who is spiraling and catastrophizing, is really important, because you need them to calm the fuck down.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's because of their specific knowledge, because they are breast clinic nurses, that they know this area so well.
I'm glad they were. I mean, I've had bad surgeons as well. They just treat you like you're a sack of meat.
Well, so the build-up wasn't great. And again, my wife was so, of course she was worried.
She's okay.
So we should say,
before you move on.
Yes. So we should say the sort of leaving you on the cliffhanger, that all the tests came back clear, and what it turned out to be is trauma from the radiotherapy that shows up years later. So that last week when you feel kind of like you're just winding down towards Christmas, didn't feel like we were winding down. So when Christmas came, it was like, that is it, just right. So there was, and the 2 weeks of Christmas were fantastic. So then we come to 2026, and you've got new things going on.
Yeah, like always. So this year will be a mix of plain language drafting. So we're looking at some commercial agreements, more commercial agreements this year than consumer agreements, and then training lawyers how to communicate better, which includes drafting, but it's also it's about the whole spectrum of interpersonal relationships and how to make sure that they're meaningful. And with that comes the added benefit of talking about good mental health and burnout, which I think is often about a loss of connection. So I'm very excited for this year. Cautiously excited.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, cautiously very excited.
But I think what you're tapping into is something that is going to just be seen as being increasingly
it's
important.
The age of the youth, man. It's not the age of AI. It's I think people are really starting to realize that those human skills or power skills or soft skills, whatever you want to call them, is going to be, the most important skills going forward. Because, the old sort of hard skills, that's what AI is primarily for.
What I think what we're going to see in 2026 is less of this conversation around what AI still can't do? Because I think that's really boring. I think it's really boring to just keep going on about what AI can't do. And I think the
Well,
conversation,
it's also a very negative mindset, right? Instead of like a growth mindset, as the self-help people will tell you, that you're
yeah,
open to considering what it can do.
well,
If
right.
you're focusing about what it can't do, that is a defeatist mindset, right?
But you're right, because I think the conversation in 2026 is now going to be about, okay, what can it do? Let's explore what these things can do. And I think we're going to see a lot more about the business of law. People aren't going to
I
be
hope so.
just so focused on, can it do the research? Can it do the drafting? I think if you look at 2022 and ChatGPT came out, and now we're looking at into beginning, 3 and a bit years later, if you're still sitting there going, oh, this is what it can't do, you're not thinking about what's happened over the last 3
Then
years.
you're missing opportunities.
Right. But if you're still there, you are missing huge opportunities, because law isn't just drafting and research. So it's the business of law as well. So all of those things that you do around that, where the opportunities are just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of this conversation is going to be, okay, well, let's explore more about how this can help us. And I think that's the exciting
Yeah.
thing.
But in the meantime, we're also in the podcast going to be talking about things like creativity and parenting and all of those. I'm pretty sure AI can't really parent.
Well, let's not discount it
It
just
won't
yet. Be
wipe
nice.
buns. Fuck.
Keeping that in.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, not yet it
I
can't.
know
Although
what
I
that
don't know if
is.
you've seen some of these robots that are popping up all over the internet. Maybe one day soon they will be wiping buns, as you call them. But for now, they can't. Oh, do you know, one of my favourite movies is Bicentennial Man. Have you seen that movie with Robin Williams? Oh, you should watch it. It's such a beautiful movie.
Okay.
Such a
I'll watch it.
gloriously beautiful
Bicentennial
movie.
Man. You should start a podcast where you just suggest movies.
My family will tell you that's not a good idea. They hate my movie choices.
Okay.
But so we have got a sort of, in this first half of 2026, we've got some really, really good episodes coming up. A couple of really interesting themes coming up that I'm excited about. You and I have already started recording episodes for them.
Yeah.
I'm really excited.
I got to interview one of my favorite authors, which is fantastic, about fun.
Yeah.
So I think that's also, a very important thing to focus on these days. It's to counteract the catastrophizing.
Yeah. And I think what's going to be great in that episode is that understanding about what fun means and how you find it. That's going to be a brilliant episode. There's an episode on joy. We've got an episode on grief and glimmers coming up, which for me was incredibly.
Yeah, you nearly burst into tears, you ninny. It was beautiful to behold. No, but it was really moving. I hope we can translate that into the episode, because I do think it will be moving to most people, because we've all at one stage or another lost someone, right?
Yes.
It's interesting those two conversations went together, right? So your glimmers of joy, and then the other sort of, you think it's the other side, grief. It was I didn't expect it to go in that direction.
Yep. So
that's my favorite part of doing this, because often, like, you think it's going to be one thing, the episode, and then it turns into something completely different.
Oh, yeah. Do you know what? That's what we're experiencing, isn't it? As people who came into this without knowing what this was going to look like. It's how every episode has taken us by surprise. And we've got more of that coming up. But I think that the main themes that are coming up in these episodes are kind of two. There's a lot on the emotion side, the fun, the grief, the joy. Wellness, but also, as we've talked about a lot, words matter. We've got an episode coming up on words matter, and all of this plays into that. We talk about how important the things that we say, and that's going to come up a lot for us. And I'm really excited for what
just stop with the lawyer jokes and the negative self-talk. I mean, we both love the law. I think in the past I've created the impression that I don't.
I don't think you've done that.
No, I have. I think it's so important that you stop that negative self-talk. I guess is what my wife meant when she said I shouldn't call myself crazy.
Yes, your wife has told you to stop referring to yourself as crazy. Why has she done that?
She says that it creates a incorrect sort of perception of both myself, like, because I'm not like hallucinating, right? At least I don't think I am. And that it also creates an incorrect perception of bipolar disorder. That you're not crazy. It's a facet of who you are, which I
Yeah.
firmly believe. I believe that of most sort of mental illnesses. I don't even like the word illness in that context because it's much like when you are neurodiverse in other ways. Like it's not a separate thing. It's just part of who you are. I thought it was really sweet of my wife to pretend like I'm not crazy. Hopefully she doesn't watch
We've
this.
completely lost the thread now on this.
New Year's resolutions, and then we're done.
Right. Yes. Okay. So we also said that we would talk about New Year's resolutions and how you feel about them. So I'm going to hand this over to you.
I don't believe in them. But it's actually a bit of a complicated answer. One time, this was undoubtedly also a symptom of my bipolar. I read a book called 4,000 Weeks, and then there was a passage in there that I found that hit so hard that I ran across the street and had it tattooed on my arm.
Ran across the...
No, literally ran across the street. Like, there was a tattoo parlor across the street from our then offices called Shit Tattoos. Anyway, they were very good. But the sentence is, I'm going to read it off my arm. Do you want to know what my secret is? You see, I don't mind what happens. And this is why I don't believe in New Year's resolutions, because what that says is I don't mind what happens because I can't control what is going to happen. So it means I can have goals. I can say, I want to get fit this year. Or I can say, that I want to do more workshops or whatever the case may be. And I can strive towards doing that, but I mustn't attach the significance to it that if I don't reach that goal that I've somehow failed or that I've broken my New Year's resolution. That's why I don't believe in resolutions, because it creates this false impression that you're in control. You're in control of the striving. But even there, if you get sick or whatever, that, shit happens.
Well, and then you feel like a failure, don't you? And you attach, like you say, you attach a lot of, I think you end up attaching a lot of self-worth to it.
Yes.
And then if you don't achieve it, it feels like it's, that's the end of it. Rather than seeing it as a journey.
Yes.
You go, well, I've dropped off this cliff. That means I've completely failed.
We
and
all
you
do
don't
it.
get back. Yeah.
My therapist has a very nice way of saying it. She says, hold your goals lightly. So have them, strive towards them, but hold it lightly. If you fail, if you don't get there, that's not a failure. It's just how things went. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. For me, it's the process. You can have goals, fantastic, but it's more about the process that you're going to put in place, because the process does more to keep you on track, and you're always going to fall on track or off track. But if you've got a process, you'll be able to get back on track, and you'll also give yourself a bit of leeway, a bit of self-care when things do go wrong, because you go, okay, well, this was going to happen. I knew it was.
Yeah.
A bit of kindness to yourself. And so you can set goals. Listen, I'm all for those, but for me, put the goals to one side.
Yeah.
Because what you'll often find is you set the goals to one side and focus on the process. You'll look back and you'll start to see some progress. But if you look back in 12 months' time, you'll probably see that you've not just hit that goal, you've gone beyond it, because you weren't just judging yourself constantly on this goal. You were more focused on the process.
Or not. And that's fine too.
And that's fine too.
That's the other thing. Goals shift.
Yeah.
Processes shift. Life circumstances shift. I mean, I learned that one the hard way. But to tell you just a funny last thing about the tattoo, I messed it up. I left out 2 words. And then about 6 months later, I went back and I had them fix it. But when you do like an insertion, like with a little, like you can see it was fixed. It was and at first I thought, I'm just going to leave it because it still kind of made sense. But then I decided I'm going to go and tattoo the correction into the tattoo, because that kind of is the point, right?
Yeah.
Is also that, stuff happens.
Yeah.
You go and have a tattoo at a place called Shit Tattoos, in a fit of peak, and you mess it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I showed it to my psychiatrist a couple of years later when they were thinking about my diagnosis, and he's like, yeah, that's a symptom. He
Yeah.
said the same thing about downhill skateboarding when you don't know how to stop.
Oh my God. Do you remember
That's a
that was
symptom.
really on in our
Yeah.
relationship? That
Okay,
whole
now.
downhill skating fiasco.
Well, I think we should leave the people to get on
Yes.
with striving towards their goals.
Yes. So, we've got a new series of episodes coming up. We're really excited about it. We can't wait for people to listen to it and to.
We're calling it, the series is called Do-Over. Season 2, Do-Over.
Season 2, The Do-Over. Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sound like a sequel movie.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So you can do that as the, do that as the image.
I will.
So, looking forward to the things starting up. Do stay with us. We are so grateful to everyone who is joining us on this journey and what we're learning. We hope that everyone who's listening is learning too. And obviously, listen, if anyone's listening and they've got ideas or suggestions for episodes, we want to hear that as well. We don't have all the answers. We know we don't, but we are excited to learn and really looking forward to these episodes that are coming up. We've been your hosts, Scott Simmons and Elizabeth de Stadler.
Elizabeth de Stadler. Do that again.
We've been your hosts, Scott Simmons
and Elizabeth de Stadler.
And this has been Legal Off the Leash.
That was fun.